Hey YouTube, what's up? I'm Eric with driverlineup.com. Very excited to finally be making a video. It's been a long time coming. I think sorry, it's noisy. It's behind. There's a freeway right there behind me. I'm in Springfield at Prime. I've been thinking about doing this for almost 2 years. Making a YouTube channel. I'm actually a filmmaker by trade. I was the executive producer of a feature film documentary, feature-length documentary that's been seen by 500,000 people. So all this time I've been wondering, why haven't I done a vlog, especially since it was vlogs that got me to Prime. Back in the day, I remember Crazy Bags, Rolling for Time, Lyle with No Hippie Trucking, Transportation, and David H. I think started vlogging about right when I got into orientation. But I've had so much to say, and you know, honestly, part of it is that I've just wanted to become a professional driver. I wanted to be very good at what I do. I run a team truck, and it's time consuming, you know. Making content is time consuming, very time consuming. And I don't, you know, I'll do a lot of raw stuff. I'll probably do a little more produced stuff. Most of it's gonna be raw stuff like this, just because I don't have time. But I wanted to do this for a long time, and you know, this is my first video to put up on the channel, and I watch a lot of YouTubers say they go back and watch their first video and they see something that was, you know, a lot different, or it made them think. And what I wanted to say in my first YouTube video, for when I come back and watch it maybe a year or two from now, is that I want my channel and I want the content that I produce to be inspiring, and I want to be inspired at all times. And there's so much craziness happening out there in the world, and it's tough, you know, just the whole, like, even just wearing masks. I mean, my nose is broken out from wearing masks so much, you know. It's annoying. The world is not what it used to be, but we're Americans, and inspiration is something that keeps us going. And I you know, I want to be inspired. So Eric, if you're watching this a year from now, do not let yourself drive without being inspired. You know, we have so much time on the road and so much time to think, and I think it's really important to just always be inspired. And the second thing is drive to thrive. Don't just drive to drive. I know a lot of drivers have been doing this for 20 or 30 years and somehow don't have money or much to show for it. And 20 or 30 years is a big investment of your life for something that you're just going to look back and say, you know, I drove a couple million miles and don't have much to show for it, and no ambition, no big plans. I don't want to just drive to drive. I want to drive to thrive. I have goals. I have plans. I want to get out of debt. I came to Prime in a really tough situation, personally, financially, as so many others did. And this career for the past 2 years has really helped me climb out of that. And so now I'm moving on to the next, you know, the next things, the next task and goals that I want to accomplish. And I just think it's really important, and I hope it comes through in all my videos. Some of them are going to be really critical of Prime, maybe in some cases, of the industry, but it'll be constructive. But a lot of what I do, I want it to be hopefully inspirational, and always cover that theme of drive to thrive. Don't just drive to drive. You gotta have a plan. You gotta be accomplishing things. I mean, you know, it doesn't have to be some grand plan. It could be simple things like paying off debt, like I said, or getting a home, you know, sending the kids to college, getting a motorcycle, boat, whatever it is. You gotta have things to work towards. Don't just drive to drive. Life is short, and there's too much going on in the world to, you know, just be out here driving every day with no ambition or nothing to look forward to. So anyway, Eric, if you come back and watch that a year from now, no matter what you're going through, be inspired, drive to thrive. So anyway, getting this channel up and running, driverlineup.com is my website. My co-driver and I We'll both be putting content up on the website as well as the vlog. I know there's a lot of prime drivers who do this, and a lot of it will be redundant, but it's from our perspective, being a team truck, that I think we run our truck a little bit differently. We hustle sometimes. We do 7,000 miles a week sometimes, and sometimes we do 2,000 or 3,000 miles. We're not a run hard, run all the time truck, and we don't want to be. So I hope that we can bring a little bit different perspective to a lot of the topics that you already see out there. We love Prime, could not be happier. There's no perfect company out there, and we're going to talk about it, some of the things, the imperfections, but we'll also talk about the things on this channel that make Prime an amazing company, not just to start with, but to stay with. Like I said, I've been here for 2 years. I'm a CDL instructor, and can't imagine going anywhere else. Prime has never once felt like a trucking company to me. It always has felt like a family. And I've learned along the way that it's business. I think Lyle with No Hippie Trucking and Transportation, when he got hit by a deer and then got hit by a car like a week or two later in St. Louis, and he realized real quick that it's business before personal. But Prime has just always been a cool ride. I think in terms of trucking companies, you can't get perfect, but you can't get much better. And I speak very highly of Prime. Love it. Love what we do. Love who we do it for. And we make good money. We make really good money. We're going to talk about that too. A lot of people say Prime doesn't give you the miles. Well, I don't know about company drivers, but I don't want the miles. I want to run as few miles as possible. We like to keep our truck at between 4,500 and 5,000 miles a week. So we're trying to run as few as possible while maximizing our revenue. And I can tell you, we ran 4,500 miles 3 weeks ago, and I brought home about $3,700 that week. If you now we're on load choice, so we have a little more freedom and flexibility in what loads we're taking. We do not run California. We stay away from California. We just made a mistake of running to California. Took a load. Ben and Jerry's knew better. I haven't been to California in probably 2 months until that load. I want to say a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Had a 7,000 mile week, because those of you that run cross country, and it's good for students who want the miles. My co-driver is not a student. She's upgraded. We both run the truck, and all the money comes to us, so it doesn't matter. But if you want the miles, run to Henderson, run to LA, get those Walmart loads out of there. But for me, it is not worth it. I'm sorry. We ran 7,000 miles, and I got about the same amount of a check that I got 2 weeks before running 4,500 miles staying in the Midwest. And I look forward to talking a lot about that on the channel. So much to go through. I mean, got a year and a half worth of content and stories for you guys. Like I said, a lot of it will be redundant, but I hope a lot of it's unique, and I hope I can put a unique spin on it. We are on home time here in Springfield, which honestly never really feels like home time. It always feels to me like I'm just busting ass trying to do things that I couldn't do while the truck was moving, but I don't actually get rest or home time. I think when people hear home time, they think of cocktails and barbecues, and that's not the case. When I'm home, it's getting to the shop, getting things fixed, taxes, dealing with things that were shipped, getting mail forwarded, making sure medical certificates, cab cards, permits. You gotta get a step box on the truck, so it's hustle. But we certainly needed a time to not run the truck, because we just ran a hard 2 weeks, 7,000 miles a week for 2 weeks, and and we were out for 5 weeks, which we generally will shut down after about 21 to 25 days. But we ran 5 weeks, and those last 2 weeks were just grueling, and they annihilated us. So it was a good time to slow down and get some things taken care of. In terms of what I got to get taken care of, well, I've got a 2021 Peterbilt 379 Ultra Loft, brand spanking new. She only got 20,000 miles on it, I guess, 22,000. Because this last run was the first run out with it, and it's got a lot of little odds and ends. The come on over light, as Jenna calls it, won't push. It gets stuck. Going to high beams gets a little difficult. The passenger side door doesn't fully shut. Let's see what else. Had a problem with the Qualcomm, which I'll actually show you right now. Okay guys, so I want to show you this, and I feel stupid because I should have filmed before I actually took it off, but whatever, it's already, I don't want to deal with it again. So this is the one. First of all, the shop put this way too low. This should have been like right here, and I've taken this whole panel off to see there's no reason why they couldn't install it up here higher to begin with. So someone just made a conscious decision to install it all the way down there at the bottom, which when it had the original bracket, look at the size comparison here. So what that did was it made it so that I couldn't see the gauge, see my tractor drive weights. I couldn't see that without moving the Qualcomm out of the way. And then secondly, when it started getting loose, one time it actually dropped the air out of the airbags back by the fifth wheel when I was moving a couple miles an hour. It just kind of rattled and was shaking, and it pushed right up against this button. So the idea of having Qualcomm, plus it's just when it's sitting, it was literally like down here, which made it where you couldn't really walk through here. And I got co-driver, so you can't really, if I'm over there, I've got big legs, so I had no room to move because this Qualcomm was down by a lot, right? So it was just really crazy that they installed it that way. And so I go into the detail shop and say, hey, can you guys move this? No, you got to call a tractor shop. They'll move it for you though. Call a tractor shop. Oh no, once you already have the holes drilled, we won't move it for you. If you're doing a lease purchase, we'll move it, but not on a lease, just a standard lease. We won't move it for you. So they wouldn't move it, but then they charged me $38 for this large extender, which honestly is worth $38, but I couldn't believe it was making me pay $38 when they put this little tiny thing and installed it at the bottom to where the Qualcomm, like the maps were unusable because it was so far down here that, you know, you're trying to look here at the road, watch where you're going. See, I've got my GPS way up there. What good is it to have a map down here? You literally wouldn't be able to watch the road. And so basically what I'm going to do is bolt these two plates together to create a knuckle. And that way I'll be able to add this piece that was originally on it to make it go even higher. So it's actually going to sit more up here when I get the additional piece on there. But just why would you install it way down there, A, and B, why would you charge me for a piece that actually elevates it up to close to where it should be? Crazy stuff. Anyway, as David H would say, that's trucking. Let's see what else we had. Windshield wipers, they're acting up. Well, they're kind of doing some funny stuff. The fifth wheel on this thing is a freaking nightmare. I think Success Leasing like cheaped out or something, and try to save $700 on these fifth wheels. That's what someone told me. On my Freightliner Cascadia, I never had a problem. No matter where the trailer was, no matter how heavy it was, I'd come out here, yank that thing, it's loose, good to go. Man, this fifth wheel right here, I've spent 45 minutes on my first load with this truck. Dripping sweat, embarrassed, had a yard dog out there helping me. Jenna wasn't on the truck, so I was by myself. And I'm just, backing up against the trailer, dropping the air, pulling forward, filling back up. It didn't matter what I did, this thing would not release. Sorry guys, my camera stopped. Anyway, this thing would not release. And so I asked somebody about it. They said, well, just spray the shit out of it with WD-40. I thought, can't be that simple. Well, take it over to the shop, and that's exactly what they did. So, and it works a little bit better. It's a lot easier. I'd say a lot easier, but I still struggle with it. So I went and bought 2 cans of WD-40. I'm just going to douse it with. I had serious airbag issues on this thing. The factory, Peterbilt, actually left a big metal zip tie on the drive shaft on this truck. And so when I got on the highway, that zip tie was spinning and it cut a hole right on the side of one of the airbags. So that was on my first load as well. And I actually lost a really good pre-plan on that. So then I go to Boss shop and they put the wrong airbag. It was an airbag that was too big, so it cracked open, 30 miles down the highway. So I had 2 airbags replaced within the first week of having the truck. I've got just a few other issues. The hood bounces a lot, so it's not tightening down, which makes the headlights bounce a lot at night. And I hate when I'm passing trucks and their headlights are just completely wigging out. So I don't want to be that truck. Like I said, it's not big things. It's just kind of working the truck in. I love the truck. Our Cascadia, we had a 2020 Cascadia that I got in 19. I got that in, let's see, April, May of 19. Not sure exactly when I got that truck. But it just beat the crap out of us. I could not sleep in that truck. I mean, it was awful. You go across I-70 Indiana, man, it feels like the dash is going to break out of that truck. And they don't call them freight shakers for nothing. It was terrible. So our main reason for going Peterbilt was just for a better ride. Because like I said, we're a team truck. I drive exclusively at night. I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. She drives all day, so she deals with the traffic in the cities. And I sleep much better. Peterbilt has such an incredible ride. There was a little bit of a learning curve because those Freightliners, they drive like cars, man. When you get used to them, and you get in a Peterbilt and you can't make turns the way you could with a Freightliner. And I couldn't back it for shit too when I first got it. It took me probably 2 or 3 shippers and receivers before I could sink in the hole, and I could back that Cascadia into anything. But once I got adjusted and got used to it, it's an amazing truck. So it's just little odds and ends that have got to be fixed. I'm getting a step box put on it because there is less room, and I got to put chains on. We actually drove the first week of September over the mountains without chains, and snow came across there, Wyoming, pretty much right after we got through there. So I had to come put the chains on the truck, and there's just not enough room under the bed to put the chains in there. So putting a step box on it tonight, that's what I'm here at Prime waiting for. Get the chains loaded up, and then get on the road. And that's where this vlog is going to pick up from as we get out there and head into winter. So anyway, I hope you enjoy it. I kind of bloviated here, but this, like I said, this is my first vlog. I just wanted to kind of make an introduction, I guess, and bring you up to speed with what we're doing, where we've been, and where we're about to head. We're about to get out there and do it. And I can't wait to talk to you guys about the rates we run. A lot of drivers, when we post that we only run 4,500 to 5,000 miles a week, and we can hit $7,000 to $8,000 in revenue, Some trucks that are team trucks don't like that. They want to be 9 and 10,000 revenue trucks. 7 and 10,000 revenue a week is perfect for, that's good for us. If we're light, not burning a lot of fuel, if we only have to run 4,500 miles to hit 7 or 8,000 miles in dollars in revenue in a week, we're doing really good. So I'm looking forward to talking with you guys about the freight lanes that we stay in, where we like to load. I actually wrote a post about this on driverlineup.com, my 5 favorite cities to reload in, my top favorite, and actually it's a 150-mile radius. The top favorite would be Indianapolis. And I explain why. I'm going to do a video on that, as well as the other 4 cities, and then I'll do a video on the worst 5 cities to reload. And I'll probably do one on the California thing. There's a lot of controversy around that. I have a post on that as well, on why California is just not worth it. I mean, it is just not worth it. And I know fleet managers just, oh yeah, you take cheap loads out there and you'll get good produce loads come out of California. BS. What good is it to take $1.05 a mile load to California to then get $1.95 load out? And you're only doing $1.50 a mile each way, right? Well, I can get $1.50 a mile all day long in the Midwest. I can get $1.50 a mile in Georgia. I can get $1.50 a mile in Alabama and Ohio. I get high-val loads in Ohio. There's way better loads than having to deal with California for $1.50 round trip. In fact, that load we just came back from, we took Ben and Jerry's out to Henderson, and you guys know what that pays. It's not anything to be excited about. But, there's always that promise, we'll get you a good load out of SoCal. Well, they got us $1.50, which was the best it was going to get. We were there on a Friday night in Henderson, so that was the best it was going to get. Otherwise, it was a holiday weekend. We were going to be sitting all weekend. We got $1.50 out of that. So that's, about $1.25 each way to go out to California and back, coast to coast. No. You'd have to pay me $3 a mile out of California to make it worth it, and that just doesn't happen anymore. So talk a lot about that and a lot more. But before I do that, I want to jump back real quick to how I started this video, because again, it's the first video on my channel, and it's just really important to me to get a message across that I can remind myself of. So let's get into that right now. Okay guys, I want to give you a bonus tip before I close this out. I was going through my tools and I found a tool that I recently broke when I was moving some stuff around. But so it's a broken tool, but you may be asking yourself, what the heck would you use that for? Well, this actually, I haven't used this since January, but this is an amazing tool to have. I think it costs like 10 or 12 bucks. This is an air filter remover. So you could screw it onto, or clamp it onto an air filter and unscrew it. Like I said, I think I paid like 12 bucks for this at a Flying J in Virginia. And the reason I got this is because in the winter, especially where it's like 10 degrees below, and some prime drivers will screw on those reefer tank caps way too tight, and then if they get any condensation or water or anything in there that freezes, it can make those fuel caps damn near impossible to get off in the winter. And I've had to fight with a couple of them last winter, and I'm not like the world's strongest man, but I'm also not, I've got a pretty good grip. And there were a couple instances where it was a fight to get that fuel cap off the reefer. And sometimes they're just a little bit crooked. They put them on a little bit crooked, especially in the winter when there's all kinds of muck, ice and stuff, caked up in there. So they'll screw them on not completely aligned, and that makes it really, really difficult to get off. So one night I was really close to a receiver, and it was a short haul, and I needed to top off the reefer before I went and dropped this trailer, because the driver before me, I think it was a repower or something, for whatever reason didn't fill it. I wasn't upset. I mean, we all, the
the scenario sometimes can be such that you can't fill the reefer when you hand it off to somebody else. It's fine. I wasn't upset about that. I was going to get the credit for it anyway. I needed to put fuel in the truck. So pull in this Flying J to top off that reefer, and I could not get the cap off. And it just drove me crazy because I had already used the mobile app to set up the fuel, and I took so much time parked there trying to get the fuel cap off of the reefer that I had to go through the app and go through everything again to set the fuel pump up to let me get fuel. But before that, I had to go inside to try and find a tool. I could not get it off. I even had other drivers from other companies on both sides of the aisle. There was like 3 dudes over there trying to get this fuel cap off, and nobody could get this fuel cap off. I mean, it was frozen, stuck on there. I think it was like January. Just bone cold, snowing. So I went inside to see what they had, and I found this fuel filter remover or unscrewer or tightener or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what it's called, but it's for the fuel filter. And this thing fits perfectly around the it's got these, I don't know if you can see those little grips right there? Those grab on to the reefer fuel cap perfectly, and it just clamps right on. And I don't know, it's just a perfect fit. So just picked this up for $12 and screwed that fuel cap right off of there. So going through my tools and reminding myself, I wanted to share that with you guys, because I've found a lot of little things like that where, you know, through trial and error and through just being out here experiencing trucking, you learn things. You know, you learn a lot of things from other drivers, but some things you just learn by figuring it out yourself. And hopefully that's a good tip that you guys can use. I might do a video on that here in the future, because winter's coming up and that's a really good one. So anyway, I just want to close this out and going back to my initial post, or my initial, not post, but my initial commentary on being inspired and drive to thrive. I'm going to say 4 weeks ago, it was right when we turned in our Cascadia and got this Peterbilt. I had encountered a couple inside a truck stop. I'm 41 years old. I think they were in their early 60s. And we got into a conversation. We were waiting in line or something like that, and she had just, you know, she told me they'd been out there for 25 years, and said, well, you know, you got to be ready to hang the hat soon, right? And she said, we're unhealthy, we're in bad shape, we need to stop driving. It's becoming difficult for us to run a truck. She said, but we have no health insurance, we have no retirement, and no house. So where do we go? What do? We live in a truck. It's all we know. And you know, I thought that was so sad. I'm not saying that, you know, I don't mean to belittle drivers. You know, I love our profession. It's my career. I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. I'm not going to do it for 25 or 30 years. But it was so sad to me that they had spent, you know, 25 years in a truck, and had nothing to show for it. I mean, no retirement, no health insurance, nothing. They had no choice but to keep running, you know. I mean, basically keep running until they kick the bucket, to be honest with you. That's what I got from it. And you know, I came out, I think it was on like my 30-minute break or something, 2 or 3 in the morning. I came back out to the truck and just spent the rest of my drive thinking, what do I have to do? What steps do I have to take to make sure that that's not me? You know, I am a lease driver, so health insurance is, you know, ever since the Affordable Care Act made health insurance unaffordable and made the whole health system stop caring about a lot of us, you know, health insurance is not on the table for me. And because I'm a lease operator, I'm an LLC 1099. I don't have my own retirement fund. You know, my retirement fund is savings. It's, you know, or physical assets. That's the retirement fund. So, you know, just, it really made me think it inspired me to drive to thrive. to have very specific goals and to have ambition and to say, okay, 6 months from now, here's where I want to be. A year from now, here's where I want to be. 3 years from now, here's where I want to be. For me personally, I'm interested in getting a second truck. Some other things have to occur to make that possible. And it's not already a plan in motion, but it's something I'm looking into. I am interested in getting a second truck and running my own little fleet of maybe 2 trucks, maybe 4 trucks. I don't know, but that's something I'm looking at. And I want to have, I want to drive to thrive, and I want to drive inspired. And your way may be unique. Something that you may be striving towards be unique to you. My situation is very unique to me. Like I said, I was very broken, very broken, personally and financially when I came to Prime. Hard to find 2 nickels to rub together in my pocket, which is the case with so many other drivers, that have come into this profession. And I had business partners that really stuck the sharp end in my back, and just had some personal things that were really difficult emotionally and psychologically, and I was broke and in debt, and I mean deep in debt. Had some just profoundly difficult financial situations going on. Got myself into a bind. It is what it is. I want to be transparent with you guys and be honest. And it has taken all this time. It has taken this almost 2 years with Prime to climb out of that, to claw out of that. But that was my first goal. My first goal was to get to a place where I wasn't just, trying to make it to my next cup of noodles, right? I wanted to get to a place where I had finally money, where if I needed $100 pair of shoes, it's not an issue. I'll go get $100 pair of shoes. If I need to cut a check for taxes, I cut a check for taxes. I'm not saying that I'm wealthy, not by any stretch, but I don't live paycheck to paycheck anymore. That was the first step. That was the goal, and I worked towards that. I had something that I could see that I wanted, that was tangible, that I wanted to get to, right? And so now I have other things that I'm working towards. Paying off credit cards and getting on top of debt. Making some serious moves towards that, and like I said, I'm looking at maybe getting a second truck. So don't just drive to drive, because time goes so fast out here, guys. When you're running loads like we run as truck drivers, every load could be 2 or 3 days, right? So you're running Wednesday to Wednesday for those pay periods, and man, every Wednesday night or Thursday when that money comes in, there's another week of your life gone. And weeks go fast, months go fast. I cannot believe this summer's over. So your life just zips by you. And don't be that couple that 25 years just flashes by, and you're sitting there with no health insurance, no retirement, no savings, and you don't know what to do, but you can't stop driving. That's just not, I don't know. Maybe that is for you. If that's what makes you happy, then so be it. But if that's where you don't want to be, man, you got to start putting pen to paper and be inspired and set aside all the nonsense. I mean, the media don't even, whatever. You guys know we don't all hate each other out here, okay? Like in the real world, I'm talking about those of us hustling, we don't hate each other, okay? Nobody's looking and judging on skin color. And by the way, that's one of the reasons I love the trucking industry so much, is that it's colorblind. It is totally colorblind. A shipper or receiver doesn't see what race somebody is before they get there to pick up a load or to drop off a load. They see a truck number, right? There's just as much opportunity for everybody. And that's one of the things I love about it, is it is one of the most diverse, and it's just an amazing environment where everyone has the same opportunity, and there's, we generally don't hate each other. Truckers help truckers, right? And so it's just it's amazing to be out here doing what we're doing, and be inspired. I kind of lost my train of thought with that, because I could go on a whole video about that. But yeah, with the media, the media is just constantly, you got to be worried about this, and we're all going to die from this scamdemic. No, we're not. We all get sick every year. It gets cold. We're fine. I've been driving a truck in all lower 48 since this whole scamdemic thing began. Haven't died. No one that I know has died. It's another version of a flu. We're fine. You're going to be fine. The media tells you that, Democrats this, Republicans this, economy this, stock market, whatever. Like, this country's been through lots and lots of tough times. We've been through world wars. We've been through pandemics before. We've been through plague before. We will win. We'll pick ourselves up and win if we're inspired, if we're ambitious, and if we seek to thrive. And for us as truck drivers, that starts right here in the truck. Sorry, it's getting really dark. I just realized that. I don't like to watch. I hate when I see YouTubers watch themselves. Like, see, right now I'm looking at myself in the camera. You as the viewer can tell that. It drives me crazy. So I look at the lens, and I didn't even realize that it was getting dark in here. So anyway, I got to go over and get a step box installed. But I hope in this new channel, driver lineup, I hope that you'll like, comment, subscribe. You hear vloggers say it all the time. Guys, it really does make a difference. I mean, it really does make a difference. It helps our videos get better ranked. It helps YouTube put them in front of more eyeballs. And it's not just like, comment, subscribe. We're not just saying that for our egos. I don't give a crap what you. I got thick skin. You can say whatever you want to me in the comments. You're not gonna get under my skin. I promise you that. It's not about the vanity of seeing likes and comments and subscribes. It's because it really helps. So if you guys like this, if you want to follow the journey, if you want to hear me talk more about all this stuff, which I have so much more, and I'm going to break it down into individual videos. It won't all be long like this. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Certainly follow us over at driverlineup.com. You can subscribe to our emails over there. Send those out every week. And if you're interested in going to Prime, man, I highly, highly recommend it. It is the longest and most grueling training program out there. But guys, it's amazing. I came out of TNT. Now, back when I went through, the actual training portion was much quicker. I think it was 30,000 miles. And at that 30,000 miles, you were done. Like, you went back to Springfield. But conversely, you went back to Springfield and usually sat there for 4 to 6 weeks waiting on a truck, literally living at Campus Inn for a long time. So just because it was 30,000 miles back then did not mean that you were in your own truck at 31,000. It just meant you got off your trainer's truck at 30,000. So yeah, it's 50 or 60,000 miles now. But I'll tell you guys, if you want to make this a good, successful, profitable, inspired, ambitious, and thriving business for yourself, then you want to be a professional driver. You want to know the business, you want to know the truck, you want to know how to do the mountains, how to do winters, how to fuel, how to cut cost here, and when to maybe spend a little more there, so that it makes sense for you to be successful. You want better training. You don't want this 2-week and you got a truck situation a lot of other companies do, because that's when you're hitting fixed objects and you're costing yourself a lot of money. You're not really thriving. Prime's program is the best out there, and I highly recommend it. I'll make some videos about that too. My driver code, if anyone's interested in thinking about going to Prime, would very much appreciate you using it. I do have a lot of referrals coming in, and it's a big help. My referral code is ODOMEJ, And certainly feel free to use that. Let me know in the comments if you do, so that I can kind of connect with you and send you a phone number, and I'd like to keep in touch with you. All my referrals I talk to or have a connection to, and I really love that. So and maybe I'll train again in the near future as well. So anyway, thanks guys for letting me talk so much. I think we're over 30 minutes for this video, which my future videos won't be so long, hopefully. But this is, like I said, it's my first video. I want to come back to it in a year or 2 years, or when I'm going through a tough time, and just remind myself of the things that I said on my first video. And I want to make sure that my life is steered by that. And I hope that the message that comes through, the narratives that come through on my videos here and in the future, inspire you to drive to thrive. And also that you can learn quite a few things from it, and that I can learn from you. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for letting me, come onto your screen for a little while, and look forward to talking with you in the future. Thanks so much. Be sure to visit driverlineup.com. I'm Eric, and until next time, peace out.